But did I ask you this already? Like about capitalism and the or Deleuze and Guattari's conception of it as like sort of the mirror to the schizo subject as far as it
I'm not.
deterritorializes and then
No,
reterritorializes desire into its own ends. Did I ask you about
I'm
that?
not really familiar with that. No, like I have a very vague idea of what you mean, but not really.
Well, we
Isn't it like that the capitalist can't ever like put the schizo in a box to like sell him products or something?
well,
Because the schizo is always like moving around and like crossing the limits.
yeah.
Sugar.
It's that what you just mentioned is not what I was talking about, but it might be more interesting and clearer to talk about on the podcast because that is the political project that Deleuze and Guattari put forth
Mm-hmm.
is operate within the form of the schizo as far as becoming imperceptible, escaping the flows and territorializations of capitalism.
Escaping identification and like
Yeah,
labels generally.
escaping being and going into becoming, which I think
Mm-hmm.
connects back somehow perhaps to Lacan because you can never quote unquote be yourself, but maybe you can be constantly becoming yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Lacan actually touches on that. But Lacan is complicated. Throughout his lifetime, his ideas change, and like the early Lacan is not the same as the late Lacan. It's just a big convoluted mess. But yeah, definitely. Like for Lacan, you're never yourself. You're always becoming yourself, but you can never reach the end if that makes sense. And even like your conception of yourself is not either like a it changes over time as well.
Yeah, and I think that speaks to the kind of universal fluidity that
Hmm.
Deleuze kind of exposes.
Constant change and like nothing ever stays the same. But like at the same time, it does. Weird. I feel like the form always remains the same, at least in capitalism, but the content is changing all the time.
Hmm.
But on the Deleuzian political project we're talking about of always escaping you know categorization in practice, what would that look like? That's something I'm having. Like, is it even feasible to just always constantly like push boundaries?
I think in some sense it can be. Maybe not in like a huge way, but this oddly connects somehow to like more right wing anarchist thinking about like blockchain
Joyism.
networks and like cryptocurrency and stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. But I think part of the point is just that it's like there's a critique of contemporary identity politics within this
Hmm.
because basically what if we apply this idea of like capitalism reterritorializes everything into its own ends and like when you say I speak for this group you are basically saying like I am what you the system that I'm trying to fight has identified me to be and so
Hmm.
therefore is like you're starting at a disadvantage because you're allowing the thing that you're trying to change to define yourself.
Hmm.
And so
Yeah, I remember reading.
you can only make like quote unquote progress within the territory that they've drawn out for you. And that's one thing that I think a lot of people who are like racial gender rights advocates and things like that sort of don't understand is like, okay, but what if the more radical thing to do is to like rethink these territories themselves and escape
Yeah,
them?
I agree. Yeah, that's the part about Deleuze that I love so much. Like, it's very charming. Wait, I forgot what I was going to say. My English is so bad.
It's not that bad. What do you mean?
It used to be better. What was I saying? What were we talking about?
We were talking about Deleuze's political project of imperceptibility and escaping boundaries.
Right, yeah, okay, I remember that. Like, I remember reading that a big part of like Deleuze's project is that to stop just reacting to the system and to actually go out there and like create your like, you know,
Yeah.
like not go on the offense, but basically like to put yourself out there and to take the first step before capitalism and keep on taking the first step until like you can never be territorialized.
Yeah, even like drawing out your own territory for yourself.
hmm The concept of territory is so nice. It's a really cool way to think things.
Mm-hmm.
What's a line of flight?
I'm gonna have to get back to you on that one too.
No, don't worry. I think he might go more into it in Thousand Plateaus.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. I think he also goes back more into territorialization and deterritorialization in A Thousand Plateaus.
Yeah.
Do you think like that um like I wonder what a more liberatory psychology would look like or would be.
Well, I think it must have this materialist conception of things.
It might even actually be not possible. If you argue that like, you know, most psychological problems are, society caused and not, just the fault of the individual. Like the only way to really get beyond them in that case would be to just, make society better. And I actually kind
Yeah.
of agree with that line of reason.
Me too. It's like why
Like,
enclose me into these symptoms instead of
hmm
solving the social problems that are causing the systems or symptoms?
like this makes me think of the I think Zizek Peterson debate where like
Yeah.
uh he contested Peterson's famous rule to like clean your room before like changing the world. Like what if the world itself is like an unclean room, which is just terrible. Like cleaning your room won't do anything.
Yeah, like what if in
Like
the process of cleaning my room I discover that the whole reason why it's messed up is because of the way that the social order is messed up?
yeah, exactly. Like like the push to like make it all about the individual and like you're stressed, it must be because yada yada. It never comes back to the system, even though there are like I think pretty obviously are links between social ills
Yeah, I saw a
and
tweet.
capitalism.
I saw a tweet that said that it was like I'm a therapist and I can attest to the fact that most people don't really need therapy. They just need money. Like
Yeah, and therapy is pretty expensive on top of that. Just like
true.
oh god, there's so much wrong with today's society. Yeah. Like
Indeed.
talking about this makes me think about it. I think one big component of modern society is how stressful and anxiety-inducing it is. Correct.
Yeah, I totally agree with you.
Like you never relax or rest. You always have to be doing something. Being productive.
Yeah, this notion of productivity that
Hmm.
is useful
It's
for
so toxic.
capitalism is yeah, it literally it seeps into your own self-conceptions.
Yeah, I know. Like literally everyone I know, or almost, like they feel bad when they're like just at home not doing anything because there's this pressure to always be doing.
Right.
Like even myself, I'm aware of this. Like I should be perfectly fine doing nothing, but when I do nothing, I feel like I'm doing something wrong. It's crazy how deeply internalized it is.
Totally.
Like I don't even think it's possible to completely undo it unless we just. Nah, it's just impossible. Maybe like people in the future born under different conditions will feel different. But
Well, I mean, part of it, I think there's a possibility of mitigation of all of these ideological things because
hmm
this is more in like the liberal progressive discourse, but people like to throw around the term like unlearning things. I think
yeah,
that there's a perpetual unlearning that is possible to do because it's like when you know that, oh, I only feel guilty for just relaxing because of this capitalist notion of productivity, then you could just be like, okay, fuck that. Like,
yeah, yeah. I agree. I actually see a relation between I think with um the Zizekian concept of ideology here, where
hmm
like what's going on and how capitalism is evil, but nevertheless you participate in it and make it continue.
yeah, like how ideology isn't just us doing the things that we don't know what we're doing. It's like we know it now,
Yeah,
but we still do it.
exactly. Yeah, it's not just like false consciousness, it's further than that. It's not just that people don't see the real thing, it's that people see the real thing and they're like, oh, okay, this is the real thing, and they feel better about themselves, but they keep on doing exactly the same thing.
Right.
And but at the same time, like what else what else really can we do without money? We're forced to do it at least.
Well, that connects to what he says about like ideology today is
Hmm.
more about destroying hope of a better society.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It's not even about like convincing you that capitalism is great. It's just that, oh, there's nothing better than capitalism. It's like I see that argument so much. Like, oh, capitalism is bad, but like it's the best we can do or whatever.
Yeah, or it's just the way things are. It's just human nature.
Yeah,
That's the
yeah,
other popular one.
yeah. The human nature argument is so bad. I can't get over it.
That's like the intellectual dark web's thesis.
Oh my God, yeah. It's always funny because like the Jordan Petersons and like Ben Shapiro's and their actual like academic circles, no one takes them seriously. I don't know. Well, I think Peterson and like psychology, I think he's done some, good work there, but like whenever he talks about literally anything else, it's like
It's
it doesn't
ridiculous.
make any sense.
And it's very mythological too. He has his own
Hmm.
mythological conception of the world. And it's funny how like that
His
whole
conception is so weird.
yeah,
I don't know.
that
I don't even
whole
know how to describe it.
that whole entire cohort of people is like blown apart now. Like Sam Harris distanced himself from them. Joe Rogan doesn't talk to Dave Rubin anymore because he realized that he's a grifter. And
Hmm.
Jordan Peterson basically ruined his life after getting so like rich. He just like ruined his life.
Yeah. No, the crazy thing, Jordan Peterson and his like rule to clean his room, and you see him streaming, and his room is like a complete mess.
Literally.
It's so funny. Did he go to like Russia or something for like experimental treatment for his addiction?
Yeah. And then his daughter, like, fell in love with a Stalinist there.
Yeah. I wonder what he thinks of that. I don't know.
The dude has...
Is he back? Does he
Yeah.
make videos now?
Yeah, he's back, and he's making content again.
Okay. Oh, that's too bad.
He did a podcast with Matthew McConaughey for some reason.
Who even is that?
An actor.
I've never heard of him. Wait, what's his name? Matthew
McConaughey. The guy from
Okay.
The Wolf of Wall Street who, like, punches himself in the chest.
Oh, yeah, that dude.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't see The Wolf of Wall Street, but I saw his face. Okay. Did you watch the podcast?
No, I just saw the thumbnail.
Okay. Peterson. The thing, I don't like self-help books, like 12 Rules for Life or whatever the fuck.
Yeah, I think we see the individuation of symptoms problem there, too.
Mm-hmm. It's like a lot of it is just like, oh, you know, you're usually when you're mentally sick, you're just less productive. So, you know, society wants to make you more productive. So, you know, take a pill or fucking read this book, and you know you'll be back to making profits for someone else. I guess.
I saw this video thumbnail that was like, "This is how short your life is." In parentheses, if you live for the weekends, and it's like, dude, this is a fucking condition that capitalism created. Why are you acting like this is people's fault? Like, and you can just think yourself out of it. Exactly.
Or I remember this post on a Reddit somewhere. Someone was like, "Oh, you know, you if you want to get rich, you know, you can do these 2 full-time jobs here. You know, see, there's a job here. You could get 2 of these and just like, you know, save up money." Like, how? I don't want to work 80 hours per week.
Yeah.
It's not even feasible. How is that good for you in any way, shape, or form?
Everyone's just trying to climb the ladder. It's like we just get turned into these beings who just like I hate it. I hate right? the dehumanization of capitalism.
It's terrible. I feel like I don't want to grow up. You know, I don't want to become an adult and go working. It just sucks. It doesn't.
Same. Yeah.
Like, is this really like all there is to life?
It mustn't be. I think
hopefully not.
Everyone deserves a better world, and it's almost like we all have lives that we could be living if we were there already.
Exactly. Or like the argument that, like, you know, capitalism is like, you know, more efficient or whatever. Like, I don't necessarily agree with that, but even if it is that really the biggest problem here? Like, I would rather live in a less productive society that's healthier, you know, for the people in it.
Yeah, like is economic growth really the thing that we all want? Yeah. Like in that class that I took about globalization, in the introduction to the class, he says like, "Oh, all human beings, we all value wealth, right? So, like, why are some nations rich and others poor? It's like, let's compare these systems." And of course, that point was kind of like a bash at socialism, basically. Mm-hmm. But it's like, dude, your premise is off. I don't think we all value profit. I think that's a value system that's been imposed upon us
fetishism
by the material system, yeah.
Like, anyone realizes that it's just, like, pieces of paper. No one really cares, but at the same time, we act like if money is fucking God or something in today's society.
Well, it's the sublime object of capitalism.
Yeah, exactly. The sublime object. It's a pretty cool concept. I'm not gonna...
Wasn't that Zizek's, like, school thesis? Wasn't that, like, that book? Wasn't that?
It's his, I don't think it's his, like, thesis, but it's his first, like, big book.
I'm pretty sure it got called, like, not Marxist enough by the Titoist establishment in Yugoslavia.
Yeah, I think, yeah, right, when he was studying, yeah, something like that. But I don't think the sublime object of ideology was the thesis that got, like, basically deported. Oh, no, censored.